Cześć, pozdrawiamy Państwa z Tbilisi i jesteśmy w Gruzji. Dzisiaj mamy bardzo ciekawy odcinek o gruzińskich winach, więc sugeruję zobaczyć nasz filmik do końca. Dziś mamy bardzo dobrego, ciekawego gościa, pana Iraklię, który jest byłym szefem marketingu Narodowej Agencji Wina i również jest właścicielem swojej marki, więc on jest producentem wina, który nazywa się Wine. Więc chciałam dzisiaj z Państwem też trochę poszerzyć temat gruzińskiego wina, więc zapraszamy. So, Mr. Irakli, what is special about Georgian wine? Why it becomes more and more popular in the world everywhere just?
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. And well, I mean, Georgia was a kind of a hidden country because of the Soviet Union. We were not open to the world, and the world didn't know about us. However, we have a very long history of wine and wine culture, but in this period of time we've been behind the curtains, and so that's why we didn't have any chance to open up to the world. And also at the same time during Soviet Union, it was mass-produced wines, and there was not a big diversity of Georgian wines. However, we have many indigenous grape varieties and many styles as well. But in about 2010, there was a trend of small wineries coming, who started to revive our traditional method of making wines in clay pot, which we call qvevri. So why it's so special? So there are three basic things which makes Georgia special right now, and which is interesting for the wine lovers for all around the world who are interested in wines and who are looking for something new. So what we have to offer: indigenous grape varieties, which is also new to the world. We have registered over 500 grape varieties, but right now in industry there are about 35 grape varieties, which is indigenous Georgian ones, and which makes this very interesting for the wine lovers, because everyone knows Chardonnay and all these international grape varieties, and the people are interested to taste some other wines as well. So this is one thing. The other is this uninterrupted wine culture, which is, as scientists already proved, it's 8,000 years. So it was uninterrupted culture, which wine is in the blood of Georgians. And the third is this qvevri phenomenon, let's say so, where we make this white grapes with this long maceration.
So it means that
which makes an amber color.
Wina bursztynowe, które pojawiły się w Gruzji ponad 8000 lat temu, mają charakterystyczny bursztynowy kolor. Wina leżakują w glinianych amforach, qvevri, gdzie winogrona są fermentowane na miazdze. Jest to tak zwana metoda kachetyjska ze słynnego gruzińskiego regionu Kachetia. Wina bursztynowe są wytwarzane z białych winogron.
Amber color. So we can say generally that you presented to the world like the world normally knows only white
three
wine. Three style: white, red, and rosé. So we can say that you just presented to the world the fourth style.
Number four,
amber. Number four. Yeah. That is amber. So now, as I know, amber wine gets more and more popular, right? So
sure.
And what about countries? As we know also about on our channel is in Polish language. So do you also export to Poland or also to other countries? Can we talk also about like the countries?
Amber wines? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What are popularity about them, and where do you export to?
Well, basically, our biggest market is still Russia, and it was from early 90s when Soviet Union collapsed. I mean, during Soviet Union it was basically Russian market, and then after Soviet Union it's also a Russian market. But just to compare, before embargo, which happened in 2006, our 95% of all exports were going to Russia.
Embargo lub tak zwana afera winna to wydarzenie związane z wprowadzeniem przez rosyjskie władze zakazu importu win gruzińskich i mołdawskich wiosną 2006 roku. Wtedy Gruzja powiedziała, że decyzja będzie kosztować dziesiątki milionów dolarów strat. Wino gruzińskie zajmowało około 10% rynku rosyjskiego. Około 80% win eksportowanych przez Gruzję trafiły do Rosji.
Before embargo we were selling at most 15 countries, including Russia. Now we sell over 50 countries now, 55. So this is our strategy was to kind of diversify the markets and not to be dependent on only on one market. As for the markets right now, well, Russia is number one first in volumes, but at the same time we developed the markets like United States, China, Poland, Japan, Germany, UK, also well, Baltic states as well. They were very popular over there. Right now, Ukraine, of course, but because of this war now, the exports and the whole situation is very bad right now. But right now, Polish market is in our top 5. Right now, it was last year. It was number 2 in volumes. But in Poland, they are mostly semi-sweet reds are kind of popular there.
And amber wine is not that popular still in Poland, right?
It's starting now. It's not very popular, but I mean people have the awareness. But also Poland is very price-sensitive market, and this kind of wines cost a little bit higher than the ordinary, you know, everyday semi-sweet wines. So it's kind of it's coming right now. It's kind of a trend, but it's very, very niche now.
Wyglądają winorośle słynnego regionu gruzińskiego, gdzie produkują najwięcej wina, które nazywa się Kachecja. Więc jesteśmy teraz w Kachecji i to piękno, to wszystko jest dla Was. And what about the varieties which are the most popular here in Georgia? So I know that you have just hundreds of varieties which are local.
Yeah.
But what are the
right now? Yeah, right now operational are about 35 grape varieties. You can come across on the shelves, and it's already diverse. But dominant grapes in terms of volume are 2: Katsiteli for the white and Saperavi for the red.
Yeah.
They are about 90% of total Georgian grape yield. The rest is from Kartli. The Kartli and basic varieties are 3 varieties: Chinuri, Gorulimtsoane, the whites, and 4, sorry, and Shavkapido and Taukveri, the reds. That's Kartlian. In Imereti, most commonly you get Soligori white, Krahuna white, and Otskhanuri Sapere for the red, and Zelshavi also is coming. In Raja we have Alexandrouli, Mujuretuli. These are kind of driving force of the grapes. But there are some other, you know, lesser known varieties also which these farmers are growing. And well, also in Kakheti you see Mtswane, Kisi, and Chichui. Besides Katsiteli and Saperavi.
And also I know that for most of post-Soviet countries, and also I know for example in Poland, generally people think that Georgia is very famous for actually not white wine but for red wine. But when I came here to Georgia, I understand that generally most of Georgians drink and prefer white wine or amber wine.
Good observation, because we are white wine drinkers. Georgians, we don't. I mean, white and amber because we are white wine drinkers. But this style was developed basically during Soviet times. For example, Khuanchkara, maybe you heard about this. It's during these times. It was naturally semi-sweet because there was after fermentation the sugar was still there. A little bit of residual sugar was still there, and this was the style. And then it was when it was industrialized and it had gained this popularity. Then it became popular as semi-sweet reds in this region, like Russia, Ukraine, Baltic states. It's all semi-sweet reds, and all these we were selling in Poland as well because it was socialist bloc then. So for them, Georgia is semi-sweet red. But when you come here, I mean, we drink reds, but I mean, we are not. It's white wine, dry white wine drinkers here. I mean, on the local market. So.
Can I ask a very private question?
Sure.
How much you can drink per one evening, maximum?
Well, it depends. The max I drink Once I remember, it was like four bottles,
4 bottles.
which is 3 liters.
Yeah.
But they are
Yeah.
people who drink a lot more than that. So,
So how much, for example?
yeah, depends. In Cajete, maybe it could be 10 liters. I don't know.
For one evening?
Yeah.
Oh, they have great too. I also know that you've been to Poland. Can you
Yeah,
just
sure.
tell about your impressions, about maybe something what
Yeah,
for
we've
you interesting?
we've been doing it. We still continue to do these wine fairs in Poland, and
So you visit often? right?
yeah, I was like at least once a year, every at least for the fair, or yeah.
Which cities have you visited?
I was basically in Krakow, because one of fairs we were visiting there, in Warsaw as well.
And according to your opinion, for example, do Polish drink a lot or no?
Basically, they drink more high alcohol. But
So you have
yeah,
experience about
they are competitive drinkers.
Do you
of
remember
course.
any funny situation about
Yeah.
being in Poland?
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of histories and drinkings and
Drinking
yeah.
as well. Did you try Polish vodka? Did you
Yeah,
like
sure.
it?
Yeah.
How many liters
No,
for
no.
one night?
I'm not a vodka drinker. It's too difficult for me.
Do you have like top 3 situations which was maybe a shock for you or strange for you while you
In
are in
Poland?
Poland? Yeah.
No, not really. Nothing is too strange, in this global world.
Yeah, that's it.
But I mean, peculiarities, yes, of course, yeah. I also spent some winter time in Zakopane, which was
Zakopane.
very beautiful, very beautiful. I really like these winters because we don't have this kind of winters here in Georgia, so this was really a good experience over there. It was wooden, with really nice hotel, beautiful views and snowy mountains, and snowing. And we got it. They have a really high mountain when you go with the cable, and it had a beautiful, beautiful view. It was really, I still remember that. It's a small, nice winter resort, and yeah, that's where I drank shots of vodka there.
Shots of vodka there. I teraz ja wybrałam się do swojego kolejnego znajomego, do Georgia, który jest właścicielem sklepu, który specjalizuje się na winie, Wine Merchants, i również tutaj można sobie wypić kieliszek wina, wybrać, i mam nadzieję, że ta rozmowa będzie bardzo ciekawa, więc poznamy, co wybierają Gruzini, co wybierają nie Gruzini, skąd jest pomysł na wino, jaka jest sytuacja z winem i z winiarstwem w Gruzji. Zapraszam. To jest właściciel tego miejsca, bardzo fajnego, z po prostu rewelacyjnymi klimatami, który nazywa się Wine Merchants. So I would like to ask you, what about the idea? How did you come to this idea to have your wine shop or your wine bar? How it happened?
Actually, I'm in the wine industry for 8 years. I was living in the UK for 7 years, and when I came back to Georgia, I started to work at the National Wine Agency. So the aim of the National Wine Agency is to promote Georgian wine worldwide. First it was European markets, and also we had the Baltics and Polish market. We were traveling, we were participating in the exhibitions all around the world, and it was accident actually that I came in this industry, and I fell in love with wine, and Georgian wine, and this was the beginning. And then I moved to large wine producer, and we were exporting wine in different countries.
And what kind of wines do they prefer more, like white or?
No, actually, every country has different preferences. For example, in Poland, we were exporting more medium sweet wines. For example, in Germany, we were exporting more dry wines. So every country has its preferences. Why I decided to open this bar was that I have spent a lot of time in promoting Georgian wine. I spent a lot of time in exporting Georgian wine in different markets. And then I decided to have my own place where I could gather interesting winemakers, because I have traveled a lot in Georgia and I know a lot of winemakers and I've been to their places. And I decided to create a free space for all the people who love wine, not only just professionals, just ordinary people who don't have any information about wine, and educate them, like give information what kind of wines Georgia is producing.
And could you comment something? Because sometimes you see the shops like your shop where you can find very high quality wine and also good prices for this quality. But sometimes you go to, I don't know, for a bazaar or market, and people also sell, some wine like in plastic bottles. What can you comment about that? And sometimes people even don't understand what to start with, because they say, like, plastic, it looks like, more like family style or something. These bottles look like more high quality style, but you never know. So what do you recommend? What would you recommend for the person who comes the first time maybe to try Georgian wine? What kind first to try, plastic or high quality bottles?
Plastic bottles, you should be careful. Maybe the wine is good inside the plastic bottles, but it's very dangerous, because wine might get spoiled. For example, if the wine gets in wrong temperature or it gets the sunlight, plastic bottle is not recommended. Bottled wines are more safe and more, I would say, it's more limited, because this culture is changing from this plastic vessel to the bottled wines. You can find some wines in the stainless steel and they are bottling in the plastic bags, but you should not keep wine for a long time in the plastic bag. That's my opinion, because then wine is changing its character and not recommended. But in bottled wines, you can feel safe, and if wine is good, you can, if you keep the correct temperature, then wine will develop. Wine is like a human, it's developing, and after like 100 years, it's declining. So when it's young, it's fresh, and then when it's has some age, like 20 years or something, it's mature, 20 to 40 years, and then it's declining. So I would compare like human.
So generally we can say that every person who wants to get know something more about Georgian wine, like special branches of your wine, they can come to you and you will say something about that, so they can get this information here, I guess.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
To try the first time, for example, the second and the third, and
of
all
course.
of these.
Yeah, that's why we are here.
I nasza kolejna osoba, kolejny nasz bohater to jest Georgi, który jest menedżerem Wine Merchants, i też chciałam zadać mu parę pytań o edukację na temat wina w Gruzji. So, I would like to ask you about how this idea to be in this branch, to have this education about wine came to your mind, and history.
The winemaking is an history making, like to be written in history, to do something. That's a really kind of hard thing, to make something with whom you can write down in history. That's why I chose the professional technology. That was a great program. We studied about from the viner to the wine, everything. And there was a special education called you have to make your wine. That was our final project. and we were making our wine, writing down everything about it, and that was the final.
So we can say that every student who graduates from this university has already his own wine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what was your choice?
My choice was to take, I'm an experimental winemaker, and I thought it would be a great choice if you were making the European wine, an aromatico, in the subject of the aromatico, to make in a quarry.
What was the result from the first time? Because
Okay.
normally the first time when you make something, that's quite hard.
That's quite hard, but the knowledge about what gave me university that helped me to make a great wine.
Oh.
That was the aromas of the rose and lychee, that called the fruit. That was fantastic. When I am opening the bottle, everyone was in a shock because that kind of aromatic you can't find in any wines. And the quarry added their the tannins, and the taste was like rose taste. No one knows and no one tasted rose, but you are feeling that in a smell and in a taste that you are tasting the rose.
Cheers.
Cheers!
Gabi Marcus.